Happy book club, everyone.
Book club.
We need like a little song.
Yeah.
I love to read.
Only selectively.
Reading is fun.
Sometimes.
Oh, guys, what a month. I feel like I read so many books and then I just stopped reading. I haven't read anything in like 2 weeks, I think.
I've been reading the same book for what feels like forever. But when I picked it, I didn't realize that it was like more than 600 pages. Yeah, it's 2 books,
What are
technically.
you reading?
The Reformatory.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I'm like 70% through.
Good?
Yep, really good.
70%, that's pretty good, dude.
Really good. Yeah, I want to finish it.
Yeah,
so that I can just move on.
Yes, I am trying to read Greta and Valden. But I haven't been in a reading mood, guys. And it's because I finished Onyx Storm. And like, how do you...
You're in a reading rut.
I'm in a reading rut because I love my little fantasies. And lucky for me, that's what we're here to talk about today. Give me one of those.
It's a shark.
Oh, hell yeah. So, guys, welcome to our book club episode for February. And we're going to sit down and we're going to talk about Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros.
The third installment of the Empyrean series.
Now, I'm going to choke on this lolly. I did that last time. As someone who likes to do their due diligence, I asked Google Gemini, basically AI, to summarize Fourth Wing and Iron Flame for me. A bit of a recap, right? Because I forget everything. So if this is wrong, it's not us.
Also, if you haven't read this yet, but you plan to, maybe don't listen to this episode.
Oh, yeah, no, these book club episodes, they're spoilers.
Yeah, I don't want to say to not listen to us, but yeah, if you plan on reading this series and you haven't yet, definitely just give this a skip because we are going to ruin everything for you.
Yeah, our book club episodes are what you listen to after you've read it because you're like, oh my God, I need someone to talk to about this. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
So you would listen to us. Alrighty. So according to AI, the recap for Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. So in Fourth Wing, we obviously meet Violet Sorrengail, who, despite a frail constitution, according to AI,
Same.
meant for the scribes so she was meant to go into the scribes quadrant because
she trained to be a scribe.
Yeah, in their world, it's like Hogwarts, and you've got 4 quadrants. You either go into the scribes, the riders, the healers. I don't even know what the 4th one is.
The fighting people on the ground.
Right. The front line.
Infantry.
Okay. Oh, yes. I never know what that means. Anyway, so she's like, her dad was a scribe, like really into that shit. She was meant to be that because she's so little, so petite, so frail. Because always
she's just a girl.
All the fantasy got just so little. And she was like, fuck you, I'm going to do the Riders Quadrant. So she makes it in super hard. She manages to bond with not 1, but 2 dragons, one of which is like...
Why does she go to join the Riders? What was the reasoning?
I think her mum pushed her to do it. I can't remember now. Let's Google it.
Yeah, why?
Google Gemini. I've completely forgotten. It was so insignificant at the time. Why did Violet join the Riders, not the Scribes in Fourth Wing? Everyone, 1 second. Oh, she's forced to enter it because her mum forces her to, and her mum's the commanding general. And so her mother was like, you will not be a scribe. You will absolutely be a rider. And her sister was like, it's so dangerous. So many people die trying to be a rider. Like, it's not for everyone. You cannot do this. Like, this is not... But she did it, and here we are. So, yeah, she bonds with 2 dragons. Couldn't tell you how to pronounce their names. You've got Andana and... Tan. And Andana is like this really rare dragon, and she's like a little baby when she bonds with Violet. And they're not meant to be babies. They're meant to be older. Anyway, so it's like this whole thing. And then she uncovers all these secrets about the war against the Venom. And the Venom were like mythical creatures. And then they realize, oh no, the Venom's actually real. And they're actually really scary. And they're a threat. And then she also, in Fourth Wing, meets the love of every fantasy girlie's life, Xaden Riorson, who is this formidable rider with a mysterious past. He's like
certified hottie.
Certified hottie. He's a reject because
he's got tattoos.
His family was like, he's part of like the rebellion. He's got tattoos, and his thing is, because you get like a superpower, his thing is shadow wielding. So hot. Wow. Love that. And they obviously start out hating each other, as any good fantasy trope. And then obviously they start bussing, and it's like truly couldn't have written a better love story.
They also come together because Tan, so Violet's dragon, is bonded to Xaden's dragon, Sorrengail.
Yeah.
And so because they're together, then Xaden and Violet have to be within close proximity to one another.
Yeah.
So that kind of kicks off the whole bussing situation.
Which is just like, because I'm pretty sure in Fourth Wing there was scenes where, because like it's pronounced scale. SGA. I googled it. Google says it's pronounced scale.
Okay, I think that's lying because in the audiobooks they say Sorrengail.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'm pretty sure it was in Fourth Wing. They would have scenes where, like I said, you have like fucking, what's it called? Telepathic, like lines of communication with
like
your dragon.
A bond.
Yeah, you can speak through to your dragon through the bond. And then like Xaden and Violet's dragons would be fucking, and they would like be able to sense it.
Yeah, weird.
That was
no, thank you.
really
no,
fucking weird, really weird. Anyway, but vice versa, like they can sense when Xaden and Violet are fucking, which is crazy. At the end of that book, it's the revelation that Xaden and other riders, including some of Violet's friends, are secretly branded with a sign that suggests that they've channeled power from the earth.
I think
that doesn't
Google
right.
Gemini has just pulled that out of their asshole. Respectfully, you did not QA this one bit.
Okay, so the end of Fourth Wing, it's like she realizes that they're part of this rebellion, and they've been like stockpiling the like all this stuff to fight the Venom, and they're trying to fight the Venom because Navarre or whatever it is, the college Navarre and like the school that they go to, Basgiath, they are like, nah, it doesn't exist, it's not real. And then
what isn't real?
The Venom.
Oh yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
they're denying it. And so then Violet ends up at like the rebellion headquarters, and her dead brother is there. And he's like, hi, I'm alive, because she almost dies, and he heals her and brings her back to life. So then Iron Flame picks up where she has obviously been revived by her brother, and she's like, what the fuck? He's alive. My brother.
You're a piece of shit for lying to me.
What the fuck? I
burned all your shit.
Yeah, still grappling with the fact that like they're in this rebellion fighting against the school, and she's like, well, obviously I'm going to side with Xaden because he is Lommel.
But also she's really mad at Xaden because he's like practically lied to her for the whole of book 1.
Which then sets the theme for book 2.
Because she spends literally 80% of the book hating Xaden.
Yeah, where she's like, you don't tell me anything. You never talk to me. You lie to me. And he's like, well, I'm doing it to protect you. Shut up. Let me just do my thing.
Yeah.
You're just a little baby girl. You don't know what you're doing, kind of thing. And so then Violet is pretty much, yeah, like you said, fighting with Xaden the whole book. And then she's like, no, fuck you. I want a piece of this. So she's now trying to get involved and be part of the rebellion and fight the Venom and like get a feel for what's going on. And so I know you like, you know how they go to that like wizard's house at the beach?
Yes, the wizard's house.
They go to the wizard's house at the beach, and then that's
he's
where
like
she
a lord
meets
or something, or he's like in line for some throne.
Yeah, and she meets Kat, and Kat is Xaden's ex.
Yep.
And she's like really threatened by Kat. She's like, oh my God, she's stunning. Wow. Jealousy. And then Kat hates her because she still loves Xaden. And then the Venom come. They fight the Venom. There's something about like having to put the Venom in a box or something. And then I don't remember the rest of the book, but at the end, there's like a big war. The Venom come to the school and there's a big war and everyone has to fight and Violet's mum dies. She like sacrifices herself for the greater good of the universe. And the Venom, Xaden's directly fighting one of the Venom and he's like convincing Xaden that Violet's going to die. And so Xaden's like, not on my fucking watch. And so to get rid of the Venom, he channels from the earth and subsequently turns into Venom.
Yep.
And that's how the book ends, right?
Yep.
So then that brings us to Onyx Storm. That was, I can understand how that would be considered a painful recap of Fourth Wing and Iron Flame.
Apologies.
But we've never been accurate before, so I'm not going to start now. Onyx Storm. So we start Onyx Storm. That big war fight at the school's just finished. Jack Barlow came back in Iron Flame.
We haven't mentioned Jack Barlow once this episode, so the people won't know who that is.
But no, if you're listening to this, you know who the fuck
You've read it, yeah.
So Jack Barlow came back and he's Venom. And now they've got him locked up in the prison under the school.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like, they're trying to get information from him. They're like, you're a Venom, you know what the fuck's going on.
You tell us your secrets.
Tell us your secrets. What the fuck? But it's not even like the war. I'm going to call it a war. It's not even like the war happened and everyone's just taking a minute.
They're straight into it.
Immediately, shit's going on.
Straight into it.
Just like I had whiplash from how much happened in Onyx Storm. Like you just didn't get a second to deal with it. Anyway, so Violet's losing her fucking mind. I didn't realise, I thought at the end of Iron Flame that Violet didn't know that Xaden had turned Venom, right? I thought that my assumption was that he was going to keep it a secret from her.
Well, yeah, she didn't know at the end of Iron Flame.
But then she just knew at the start of Onyx Storm.
Yeah.
She just knew that he was Venom. And then the whole thing is like so he channeled from the earth and he's Venom, but he's not 100% turned as Venom yet. He's like...
He's a cadet. He's like beginner. He's beginner Venom.
Like, what the fuck?
They have ranks.
He's like level 1.
Because he's only done it once, right?
Yeah.
So he doesn't have that much power and he's not like super thirsty for it.
It's like if you do meth.
Yeah, but if you do it too many times...
You become an addict.
Yeah.
And you just can't turn back.
Yeah, yeah.
So he's like grappling with that. And he is really trying to fight the urge to channel from the earth. And he's trying to like make sure his eyes don't go red and all this kind of stuff. And so he's just kind of doing his thing. He's out doing his thing, right? And he is kind of not avoiding Violet, but he's like, we need to distance ourselves. Like I can't be around you because you make me lose control in like a cute, loved up, I'm obsessed with you way. But doing that means that I'm going to channel and I can't control that. So whatever. Immediately from the bat, Violet is taking more control this book. She's like, I need to be part of this. They now have a committee, like a little council of all the people to make decisions on what's going to happen next. And she's always like being put in front of them, saying her 2 cents or whatever. She's more like assertive in this book, which is nice.
Yeah.
She's not just like following Xaden around being like, you don't tell me things, whatever. So then what happened? Then they're just like going all over the gaff.
They are exploring. They're on a valiant and treacherous quest.
Like, the school got one mission, and she's like, fuck that. We're going to do my mission, which is, figure out how to kill the Venom. And she's convinced that finding Andana's group of dragons, breed of dragons, the like rare ones that no one's seen in centuries.
Yeah, by the way, and Dana's a different kind of dragon that they haven't experienced yet. So like,
yeah, because she's a rare dragon.
She's rare. Yeah.
Her species is like considered to be long gone.
Yeah, they had no idea. They kind of, I think like they kind of thought that she was just gonna end up like kind of like Tan.
Yeah.
And Sorrengail.
Yeah.
But then in Iron Flame, she like reignites the ward, and they're like, "You're the seventh breed."
Yes, that's how it comes about.
You're not one of us. That's weird.
Yeah, and then they realize that they need the seventh one to rebuild the wardstone. So that's why they're like, we need them to help fucking defend us.
Light up the wards. Create. Well, yeah, they want to create more wards, and to do that, they need more dragons.
Yeah. She's also convinced, because remember in Iron Flame when Andana somehow like scorched that venom, like cooked him.
Yeah, she can burn venom.
And so Andana and Violet are like, we think that Andana's breed will have the answers to how, not only how to kill venom, but how to reverse.
Cure.
Yeah, how to cure Xaden.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to do it. So the school have one mission. Violet's like, that sounds all well and good, but I need to save my boyfriend. Like, my boyfriend is more important than the safety of the entire world, essentially. And so there's one bit where like she gets fucking convinced to go out to whoop whoop, and then there's like this crazy venom who is like stalking her, essentially. I can't remember the venom's name. It's a girl though, I think.
Something Finney.
Yes, it's like
Theophany.
Theophany. Yes.
Theophany.
Yeah, so Theophany is like, imagine you have like a king venom, and then there's like the sidekick. So it's like Theophany is like Beatrix, what Beatrix was for Voldemort in Harry Potter, right? And she is like stalking Violet, and she keeps showing up, and she's like, you need to come with me. Like, you need to come see.
And she appears to be wielding the same signet as Violet.
Yeah, the
so it kind of
seems
that she is the venom version of Violet. Like, she can wield lightning.
And it is uncovered that Violet's mum. No, we'll get to that. I'm jumping.
We're jumping ahead.
I'm getting too excited. We're jumping the gun.
Jumping ahead.
So there's one pivotal scene towards like, I'd say the first quarter of the book, where Theophany is like, has somehow like tricked Violet into showing up somewhere. And then people obviously sense that she's been tricked. And so Garrick somehow shows up where Violet is, fucking eons away from the school.
He just waltzes in.
He just waltzes in at the right time, and Violet's like, that's not physically possible. What the fuck is going on? And then we learn that his second signet is that he can like essentially like time travel. Not time travel, but he can like get to places like that.
Yeah, so if the one dragon bonds with a family member of a previous person that they bonded with in the past, then that person gets a second signet.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
I'm pretty sure.
I just thought everyone, like, you had a chance of getting a second signet, but I think you're right.
Yeah, and I think it's more like likely in the people that were part of the rebellion.
Yeah.
Because the dragons are kind of like wanting to keep it within the family. Maybe. I could be talking shit there. But a lot of the rebellion people, they have a second signet.
Yes. And so that happens. And then Theophany keeps like popping up every now and then. And then...
You know what scene absolutely like... I remember I was listening to the audiobook and I was driving home from work and my jaw was on the fucking floor. I think it's the first time that Theophany pops up, but it's when they're in that town and they're trying to find like the little trinket to give to the queen or something.
Yes, because they need a gift.
And prior to like the fucking adventure squad, prior to them flying,
the Avengers,
prior to them leaving to go to this town, there was like a big arc up in Basgiath because the students that stayed in Basgiath and didn't help with the fight, with the war,
Yeah.
they were kind of like, you guys are traitors. You don't belong here. Fuck you, we're not listening to you. And the rebellion are like, you fucking did nothing. You're a piece of shit. Whatever. Ding, ding. Let's fucking go. Let's fight right now.
Yeah.
And then one of the students was like this woman. I can't remember what her name was. And then anyway, that got broken up. And then this woman that was arcing up, she like joins Violet on this quest.
She gets forced into it. Like, they don't want her on the quest.
And she can wield fire, right? So they're like, you're an asset. You need to come with us. If shit goes down, then like you can protect Violet and whatever. And Violet's like, and this woman's like fucking on edge because she's like, I don't know what's going to go on. Like, you know, she's ready. She's like positioned to like fight someone. And Violet's like, you can't be doing that. Like,
you need to chill the fuck out.
we need to be quiet. We need to not be seen. We need to go in and go out and fucking leave. Like, if anyone finds us here, we're fucked. And so they hear something moving, and because this student is so fucking arced up, she fucking throws fire, and it's like their fucking squad leader.
Yeah.
It's the fucking professor, and she's just lit this fucking poor dude alight.
This comes burning to life.
Literally,
But,
and then the building gets set on fire.
and like the buildings are like, there's something about the buildings, they're like made out of paper or something, and then they just, the whole town, the whole town is on fire.
And then the venom come and they just fucking knock her one. She's gone.
Yeah,
she's like, oh fuck, I killed my fucking squad leader. Dead. Dead.
Yep. And then
Crazy. That was crazy. That was such a crazy bit for me. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah.
You just meant to get the little necklace.
Yeah.
What do you mean you set the whole fucking town on fire?
Like, maybe if you're that antsy, don't go on a fucking mission.
Yeah, I don't know.
And like, for someone who had so much to say about the rebellions,
Yeah.
being like, oh, you're a fucking traitor.
Yeah.
Who's a traitor now, you fucking crusty bitch? Because you just lit us all on
Piece of
fire.
shit, yeah.
You fucking bitch.
Oh, that was a crazy chapter.
Oh, because that leads into Violet has discovered that, well, she's like, I am going to go look at all these islands in the kingdoms where on Navarre, where they are or whatever, like on their continent, there's magic, right? But then on all the islands, magic doesn't exist. And they're like, we are going to go look for the rare dragons for Andana's breed, and we're going to go through all the islands. Can't remember why, but they're going to. So the first one they go to is Deverelli, right? What?
Is that what it's actually called?
Deverelli.
Oh, yeah.
Deverelli. I'm going to call it Deverelli. So that's the first one that they go to. They don't really want them there, essentially.
I can't even remember what happens there.
Neither can I. Then the second one that they go to is Umbriel, which is the island of June. And Violet, when they visit that island, she discovers that she can still wield her signet despite the land not having magic. Because when they went to fight 3 warriors, this is the one where they had to fight 3 warriors, right? And then it was like 3 of them versus 3 of the island people. And they picked Xaden, Dane, and Violet to fight. And the people of Umbriel were like, you have to use a weapon, but whatever you pick, all 3 of you have to use that weapon. Like, you don't get to pick a different one each. And so immediately Xaden's like, we're using daggers.
Because that's Violet's, like, what she can use best.
That's why I love this man. And Dane doesn't even argue. He's like, yep, because, like, the people that they're fighting are huge. They're like, this is the only chance we've got. Obviously, they win. And then the next place that they go to, Hedotus. So this is where they come across...
Oh, and then at the island of June, I can't remember if you've already said this, but there's a girl that runs past Violet and she looks exactly like her, like
oh my
similar
God,
hair.
yes. So that
and she's like, that's weird.
So that happens. You know what my immediate thought was?
Yeah.
That her dad had, like, had infidelity or whatever.
I thought he had an affair too.
Yeah, had an affair with someone from the island because he.
I thought she was like, she was like a half sibling or something.
Like her mum wasn't really a mum. I thought that was going to be the storyline. Yeah. Okay, so then they go to Hedotus after. They come across Xaden's mum. She's just
Ding dong.
living there. She has a whole other family, 2 kids, like whatever.
Keeping in mind that, like, yeah, she did I need a pack of cigarettes, and then she just never came back.
Yeah.
She just left.
And so Zayden's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You've just been here this whole time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm
he
over
is his flabber is gasted at this point.
He's fucking furious.
Yeah.
Right? It's not going well. Anyway, so they're there, and his mum's like, have dinner with us, please have dinner with us. He's like, fuck you, you scummy bitch. But then he eventually decides, you know what, okay, we'll go to the dinner, whatever. So they go to the dinner, and it's not really going overly well because they're all kind of talking shit about Xaden and Violet, and then his mum and the person that his mum's like married to is like this high up guy, and he's like, if you want us to work, like to ally with you, you need to marry Kat.
Yeah.
I don't remember why. It was something to do with like her Kat coming from some sort of bloodline.
Yeah, it's because Kat's uncle was in line for the throne for that
Yes.
other place. Navarre,
that's
maybe?
And then it would be better for the future of Tyrandor or
Because
whatever.
then they'd have an allyship.
So they were like, it was all very much arranged marriage, and they're like, you need to marry Kat. And Xaden's like, over my fucking dead body.
Respectfully, no.
And Violet was ready to honestly crash the fuck out at that point. And then Garrick starts acting kind of really weird, and they find out that he's been poisoned because the people of Hedotus, like at the dinner, they were planning to poison all of them in this like dessert thing that Garrick just quickly scoffed down. I'd be dead.
Me.
Yeah, I would be dead. Anyway, so then they're all scurrying around, and Violet's trying to like sniff all the herbs and shit and figure out what was used in it so that she can like reverse it and like revive him. And she manages to revive him, which is good, thank God, because I was getting really upset about that. And then they're in the kitchen and they're fighting like the chef or whatever, and Bodhi's with her, and Bodhi gets stabbed.
Yes.
I almost ended.
Because I think the chapter ends on him like getting stabbed, and I was like, no.
What does he say? He says something like funny.
Yeah, and then like the chef like puts a dagger through his jacket, and he's like, you only get one flight jacket when you get initiated into the riders. And he's like, and I fucking hate sewing. Like, what the fuck, man? You could have hit anywhere else but my jacket. Like, are you serious?
Yeah. But thankfully he doesn't actually get properly stabbed.
No.
Yeah, he's fine. Thank God. Because I don't think I'd cope if Bodhi died.
No.
So that's thank God. So that happens, and they're like, fuck you to Xaden's mum. They're like, nah, you're on one. So then they go after that to an island. I can't pronounce it. Zehyllna. This is the Isle of Truth. Okay. And this is really weird because when they show up, every other island has not been overly welcoming. And this one.
They're like, hey.
There's like a
round
whole
of applause.
fucking stadium.
Round of fucking applause. They're like, what?
Yeah, there's a stadium and everyone's like, yay, visitors. They're like obsessed with the dragons. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then the like leaders are like, welcome, fellow friends.
Want to play a game?
Want to play Jigsaw? Right.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you can come and we'll totally be your ally. You just have to play a game, and it's super easy. All you have to do is like the gods, because their thing is the god of truth. You will be gifted something, and you just have to be grateful for it.
Yeah, be grateful for it.
Just if you show any signs of not being grateful, then we have to kill you.
Yeah.
So anyway, all is going well. People are getting the most random shit, like fucking
a broken cup. Violet gets a broken compass.
Yeah, like just really weird stuff that you'd find at a Salvo's.
Yeah.
So it's kind of all going well, and you're like, oh, this is really anticlimactic. And then
someone gets a kitten. I can't remember who.
Oh yeah, the kitten. Anyway, it's I don't even know who the fuck this person is, but all I remember...
The person that Kat was seeing.
Yeah, that's all I remember is that Kat started like hooking up with this guy, and she really liked him, which was like a big deal because...
And like, that's the reason why he went on this quest, was because Kat was like, I want you to come with me. Like, I want someone that I trust. I trust you.
It's like a whole thing.
Come join me. And he was like, absolutely, I'll ride or die for you, bitch.
So cute. And
Love
I'm
you.
at this
Illy.
so happy for Kat. I'm like, she's finally like found someone other
Yeah.
than Zayden. Like,
Yeah.
this is beautiful.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
happy for her. Like, she's been through a bit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he steps up to the podium and they're like,
I think he gets a card with like, he whips out, because they have to pick a card. And
it's like tarot cards.
Yeah, and that determines like what gift they get. He gets like is it an arrow?
Yeah, something like an arrow. Anyway, next thing you know, someone shoots an arrow, pierces him through the heart.
Dead.
And you have to be grateful. Like,
Yeah. So everyone's like, don't you dare fucking cry. Don't you dare fucking
yeah,
scream.
so they're like trying to make sure Kat doesn't react and she's like going to kill herself. And that was like, it wasn't overly sad because I'm like, I don't even know this man.
I don't know who this man. Apologies to this man.
I've
Yeah.
known him for like 3 minutes and you want me
Yeah.
to be sad that he died.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then they had to have a whole funeral thing. Then after that, they're kind of like, they're jiggered. They're all discombobulated after that. Anyway, so they start going through the Irid archipelago. And they're kind of just taking a minute. They land on this island. They're just taking a minute and then they're like, you know what, let's break up into groups or like pairs. We'll just do a bit of flying around, seeing if we can find Andana's kind. But they're just kind of taking a breather before they go to like they're meant to go to the next island, main island. Anyway, so everyone fucks off and then it's Violet and who's with her?
Bodhi, I reckon.
Yeah. I
Because
think
Bodhi finds out that Zayden's venom.
yeah.
And he's like, we need to have a chat.
So then,
Yes, ma'am?
yes. So then it's just because it was Violet and Bodhi and they're just taking a minute before they leave to fly off and have a look around. All of Andana's family show up.
Yeah.
They just pop up out of nowhere.
Like, ding dong.
And then they do this thing where like you hear this like really crazy noise and then they talk to you through mind power,
minds.
which is crazy. And you can just hear the whole conversation. And so
Imagine just like 1 second you hear just like yourself and
screeching.
then a second later you can hear someone else's voice in your head.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
Imagine if Coco could do that to you.
I wouldn't want to know what that
I'd
bitch
be like,
thinks.
shut the fuck up.
You're so annoying.
So they're talking to them and they're going on about how they value peace over violence. They despise what the humans and dragons have been doing. And essentially from the get-go, they shun Andana as a result. And they're like, you have aligned yourself with the humans and you helped them fire the ward stone. This is like, they're really nasty to Andana. And this, oh my God. So in it, and because they're shitting on Violet, they're like, you're a piece of shit. And Andana's like,
They kind of have a point. When I read that, I was like, yeah, you know what? Kind of fair. Like, the humans are kind of using them to, like, you know, have the one up on the war.
And then people start coming back. And then, like, Zayden's one of the people that comes back. And all their dragons are, like, on the defense. And
Because they know his venom.
yeah, and they're also just very conscious that, like, they don't know these dragons. They're like, well, just hold the fuck up a second. Anyway, there's a bit of tension in there because, like, Violet's side might potentially attack the Irids. And then Andana's like, no, they won't hurt her. They're my family. She's my human too. And it gave me Lilo and Stitch vibes. I was it actually... Nah, and then there was like a sentence in the book because they basically like her family don't want anything to do with her. And in the book it goes, Andana's snout dips and bone-splitting agony courses down the bond, but it's the shame that hits in the second wave that pricks my eyes. I was like, oh my Shayla.
My Shayla.
And then, yeah, because when you're all tapped in to talk to the Irids, you can hear everyone's part of the conversation and they've clocked that Zayden is a venom from the second that they see Zayden. They can like sense it. And that's how Bodhi finds out because Bodhi's part of this fucking group chat that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And Violet's like, it's fine, like, and then they're having a fucking they're having a huge fucking argument. It's not Bodhi, it's Riddick.
I get them confused.
Yeah, it's the funny one, Riddick.
Yeah, Riddick's the funny one. Is it Riddick? Riddick's the one that gets shot too.
Yeah.
By the chef or like attacked by the... Apologies, everyone. Bodhi is just not present.
Bodhi's like
God.
Zayden's cousin.
Yeah. No,
The other
Riddick's
hot
the
one.
funny one. Yeah.
So Riddick's like, what the fuck? Like, how could you not tell me? Like, I thought we knew each other better
we were
than that.
besties. Yeah.
Anyway, so then he stomps off into the forest and he's like having a huge argument with Violet about it.
And he raised some really good points. He was like, at what point do you stop? Like,
Yeah.
what is that? What does Xaden have to do for you to be like, that's not Xaden anymore? Because
Yes.
her whole thing is like, I'm going to save him. I'm going to find a cure. Like, you know, this is our mission. Like, we
Yeah.
can't give up on him. And he's like, well, if he keeps going the way that he's going, where's your boundary?
Yeah, and
He's like, I will 110% ride or die with you, but I need to know that you have a boundary and that boundary is something that you
Yeah.
cannot cross.
yeah,
That way, at least, like, I'm meant to protect you as well. And, like, if I know that boundary and you're not willing to not cross it, then, or, like, if it
I can
comes
step
to it,
in.
then,
I can make that shit decision
yeah,
for you.
yeah,
Of thing.
like, I will fuck his shit up.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And he's like full trash talking like Xaden, which as he should. And then when he goes to leave, Xaden this whole time was standing behind a tree, eavesdropping. That was the only time in any of the books Xaden pissed me off. I was like,
yeah, I have thoughts on that.
what?
He just pissed me off this whole book, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
I just didn't care for him. He was just so like, I don't know, just woe is me. And then like him calling Violet love.
Oh, yeah. That was not
I
nice.
hated it. Why? Why are we British?
There was no need for that at all. Like
we really don't need baby names.
he hasn't done it in
this.
any of the other
No,
books.
It was so fucking jarring.
There was no need to do it now.
And he was just so like, oh, I can't control myself. No, don't touch me because I'm going to take your power. Like, just
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah. But then wasn't really fucking doing anything about anything anyway. Yeah.
Anyway, continue. Then I will share my thoughts afterwards.
Then what happens after that? Oh, that's right. So then they go back to school because they found
Their mission's done.
Their mission's done. It's fucking completed. They go back to school. Somehow they don't get in trouble. They should have got in trouble, but they didn't get in trouble. They somehow got talked out. I don't know. They convinced their way out of it. And then guess what? The Venom show up.
Ding dong.
The Venom start War 2. And they're in a war. Now, fucking the prince guy that changed his name. Okay?
Oh, yeah. What's his name? Cam.
Cam was like...
Auric.
He was like at the start of the war, World War 2, he was like, protect the temple. Like, you have to protect the temple to Violet. Violet's like, what the fuck?
I need to be over here, though.
She's like, bitch, I'm busy. Anyway, so the war kicks off and she does go to the temple and it's like a whole big deal with the temple. Then Imogen and what's the other girl's name? You know?
No.
Oh, anyway, this girl dies and she's like...
Quinn.
Now, so Imogen and Quinn are positioned to be best friends. Okay?
Mm.
But the way that her, like, Quinn's death is written made it give, we're dating.
Yeah.
We're fucking kind of vibes.
Yeah.
I just feel like that was written really weird, like really confusing.
There was a bit where she was like, tell so-and-so that I love them. And I was like, wait, you two aren't together?
I thought that they were together this whole time.
Darn second.
Yeah, that was confusing. I know, Coco. It was confusing.
I think maybe Imogen really loved
Quinn. Yeah.
But Quinn loved this other person.
Yeah.
And so Imogen was kind of like, I'm happy to just be your best friend if it means that I get to have you in my life.
Yeah, which is like crazy in itself.
Yeah.
And then obviously fucking Theophany comes back. Theophany comes back.
Theophany. Same.
Theophany comes back and is like fighting Violet because her whole thing is like, you need to come with me and you need to see the Venom Voldemort, right? You need to come see our leader. He has shit to say to you.
Yeah.
So they're the big, like, that's like the boss fight that's going on. And then we go to Xaden. Xaden's somewhere else. And Xaden's losing his fucking mind, right? And he says, right? He says to Sorrengail, will you forsake me now? And she says, what is there left of you to forsake? And he says, you tell me, and then lowers the ice and lets her into his mind. This whole part, when I was reading it, was really confusing because they're not explicitly telling you what is really going on with Xaden, but it's this whole like vague element. And then Sorrengail's like, even if she will, no one will. And then Xaden says, someone will do him a favor, implying, and then I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, somehow Theophany is got rid of. She's gone, kind of thing. And then the last chapter of the book, Violet wakes up. Time's like pass. It's been like 12 hours or something, or a day. And her memory is wiped of that period. She has no fucking idea what's going on. And no one knows what's going on. But all it says at the end is, oh, that's right, because you find out that her and Xaden somehow got married in the middle of World War II. They somehow got married in World War II. Violet has no recollection of it, or no recollection of that 12-hour period. And all the book ends on Imogen going, I did what you told me to do.
And Imogen's signet is like erasing memory.
So now let's jump in. There's theories.
Now, before we go to the theories, I want to talk about how I feel about this book.
Yeah.
That ending made absolutely no sense to me. Like, Nikki had to explain it to me because I was just like, why did they rush into getting married? Like, why is Imogen erasing her memory? Like, I just had no fucking idea why they included so much with so little detail in that last chapter. Like, it made no fucking sense to me. And like, that for me, of having no fucking clue what is going on, was a recurring theme for me throughout this book.
I think the way that me particularly, just summarized the book indicates that. Like, respectfully, I love the series. Ride or die for the series. Do not get me wrong. But like, from her writing, you can tell that Rebecca Yarros, just like, fantasy writing is not her bread and butter. Yeah.
Like, and it fucking shows, because I should not be spending 80% of a 700-page book not knowing who the main characters are and not knowing where the fuck I am in this world right now. I
had no idea who was who. I had no idea where I was. Like, the world building's not there. And the storyline, it just didn't make sense. Like, it didn't feel real. Like, if you're reading a series, it should make sense, kind of thing, and everything kind of comes together. It didn't feel like that. And that's why it's been really hard to recount what happened, because I don't fucking understand and I don't remember, because none of it made sense.
My other qualm, if you know for a fact that your book is going to take you to places that aren't on the map at the beginning of the fucking book, include a page that has those places on the fucking map.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do I care what is on the inland if we're going to the islands?
Yeah. I did see a video where she said that the reason why they didn't include it was because her and her team decided that that was like a big spoiler.
How?
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck I am this entire book. What? Where are we right now?
I didn't even know who the fuck Quinn was, and you think I'm going to look at a map and be able to figure out what the storyline is?
Man, like, how? How is that? How is expanding the map? Nah. Dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb choice, sorry.
Yeah, it's... This book, like, I enjoyed reading it. Read it relatively fast. Love the series, like you said. But, yeah, trying to recount it right now was like pulling teeth.
Yeah, and like, I feel like stylistically I get what, like, a lot of... We've, like, had this discussion and, like, we both agree that a lot of what happens in the book felt really rushed. And I feel like that was a stylistic choice because, like, Violet and, like, the group, they are on, like, a limited time frame to try to find this cure for Xaden, and they're trying to rush through all these different places to try to find the Irids. So I get why they don't really have any downtime to explore, and like why like that like that's the reason why there isn't so much world building as what I would have liked, because they are staying just short stints within all of these places. But I feel like that like just doesn't do a service to the book, because like I'm not in it.
I honestly feel like that's actually not why the book was written the way it is. I think the book was written poorly, and then that's being used as an excuse after the fact. Because, and I always go back to like Throne of Glass and ACOTAR, because that's what I can compare it to. But in Throne of Glass, there is multiple like time sensitive moments, and at no point is the pacing of the book changed for it, and like so much happens during that what should be like a really time sensitive period. And but like there's world building, there's character development, all of this happens, but it makes sense because you're made as a reader to feel like you're on edge. You're like, oh my god, we've got no time, but you're not being rushed in the way that Onyx Storm and this series, you're being rushed, but at the expense of everything making fucking sense.
And then like in Iron Flame, so the second book, I feel like Violet was, because it's told from Violet's point of view, so I feel like Violet was so involved in her relationship with Xaden and like toing and froing with whether she wants to be with him or not, how much she wants to like share with him and all this shit, that she doesn't really like absorb what's going on around her. She doesn't really learn people's names. Like she doesn't learn like the first years as well as she should, and like all of this stuff. And so you go into the third book and you have no fucking clue who these people are, because like they're not fucking talked about in the second one.
But again, I think that that's a cop out, and I think that
like if you're having a character like Quinn die, I should have felt on like Kat's fucking boyfriend. I feel like I should have felt more. I didn't feel half as much as what I did when Liam died, when the 56 people died in fucking Onyx Storm.
No, and I agree. I think writing this in first person was a mistake.
Yeah,
agreed. I think this book needs to be written in third person, because then you could have
realistic.
Yeah, and you could have a character who isn't paying attention and whatever, that's fine, but not at the expense of me who's trying to fucking figure out
the reader.
Yeah. It's like it's not an enjoyable reading experience.
Like I feel like I'm reading it, and at the time I'm like, this is the greatest piece of literature I've ever read in my entire life. Like I love this series so much. I want to know what happens. I'm churning through the book. But then I sit with my thoughts and I think about it, and I'm like, that was not it.
For me, the series is getting progressively worse. Fourth Wing, I loved Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing was great. Yeah.
I think when you start a series, it's hard to fuck it up. And I mean, admittedly, like she's fucking got me in a chokehold because of the whole Zayd and Violet thing. It's my favorite trope. But she's now been put into a corner where she has to build on the world and build on the characters and build on the storyline. And she can't. She doesn't have the skills to do it.
No.
And that's why the series, but I'm so invested.
Yeah, we're here now.
Yeah, I'm here now. Can't go home.
You know who I did love in this book that I didn't think that I would, but I fuck with Dane.
A lot of people say that.
That bit where he's like talking to Sloane and he's like, eyes up here, and he's like having a little like daddy moment. I'm like, I love this man.
I love being told what to do.
Stop. Yeah, that's kind of a slay. Yeah, Daddy Dane.
Oh, and just like Riddick and Bodhi and like even Garrick, I'm like, damn.
But yeah, again, like just there are so many subplots in Onyx Storm, and I feel like Rebecca Yarros just did not take the time to flesh any of them out.
There was one moment in Onyx Storm where like Violet's talking to herself about Bodhi, and she's like, he's just as handsome as Xaden, and like he would be next in line, whatever. And in my head, I'm like, are you prepping yourself to fuck Bodhi when Xaden dies?
I was very confused, had no idea what was going on, had no idea who was involved. Did I enjoy myself? Yes. Though.
The spicy scenes took a whole new level. This
I
book.
also, when authors describe sex scenes to me, like that bit when Xaden and Violet are doing it on like that chair.
Yeah, the throne thing.
Like, I can't imagine what position they're in based on the
No.
words. Like,
It was genuinely like literature porn, this book. It was, I have not read.
Listening to this on dynamic audio is...
Imagine having to record that. I'd kill.
Imagine listening to it with your windows down at like a red light. I would be arrested. I would be arrested on the spot.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
It was a lot. Borderline, I was like, this is kind of a little bit too much for me to be reading.
I think this one, like, there was someone on Instagram and they compared, like, they did like a list of all the spicy scenes in each book, and I think this one has the most out of all of them to date.
They're very detailed spicy scenes. So these are the fan theories.
Yep.
And to be honest, these theories, I would be lost without these theories. Like, I really would.
The fans that like take the time to actually explain the subplots and like explain what the fuck is going on, hats off to you.
Especially because I can't even recount the main plot, let alone the subplots. So one of the major fan theories is that Arik, the prince guy, him and Xaden have been scheming for 5+ weeks prior
to
the
scheming.
Yeah.
We've been scheming.
Scheming. To the end of Onyx Storm. So, a woman named Claudia Carlucci on TikTok points out that in chapter 55, Arik comments that Violet would make a great politician or general one day, or at least nobility, and Xaden adds she would make a great duchess. So Claudia theorizes that this suggested that they have been scheming together well before the big climax. So we know that Xaden was exploring every opportunity in theory to cure himself from being a venom, but perhaps it wasn't as obvious as we thought.
That kind of makes sense because Arik can see the future. So
which we learn.
Maybe he sees something and he's like, he schemes with Xaden because he's like, this is how it's going to end.
Yeah, because then that 12 hours, right? So Larry Reads on TikTok points out that in Onyx Storm, Xaden says he is owed a favor from the High Priestess. So this is going back to like during the battle, those bits that I was reading before. So that's where, as he channels from the earth, because he channels from the earth again, that's why they had to get the whole wedding. Like, he's fucked. He's venom now. He's fucked. So as he channels from the earth to save everyone in the final battle, Xaden says to Sorrengail, will you forsake me now? And she says, what is there left of you to forsake? And he says, you tell me, and then lowers the ice and lets her into his mind. So whatever Sorrengail sees there clearly shows that there is something left of him to forsake. That little bit more is the part of him that belongs to Violet. It's the him, not the venom. So it's like there's 2% of him as a human left, and he has given that to Violet. And so Xaden has a plan to marry Violet. Sorrengail says, but that's never mentioned, right? And Sorrengail says, because you're kind of reading half sentences, so you're not getting the full picture. Sorrengail says, you cannot mean to ... And Larry, the TikToker, believes she means to say you cannot mean to get married to Violet. Xaden is saying, you saw what happened. It is the only way. You think she will help? She loves me. Sorrengail says, even if she will, no one will ... implying marry them, like no one would marry them. And Xaden says someone will do him a favor, implying the High Priestess. And keep in mind, Arik had made a big song and dance about you have to protect the temple and the High Priestess.
That's how you save Tyrrendor. Yeah.
Yes. And so then when this is all happening, because obviously Violet and Xaden are fucking bonded and the whole mind thing, she can't like see what's going on in his mind, but she can sense stuff. And she says, I love you. Violet's voice cracks the cold, and a silken thread of warmth wedges itself in the opening before it seals shut, locking it in place. No way. I grab for that thread with desperate hands, clawing to keep her as more of my pieces are blown away, lost to the void. She is warmth and light and air and love. So Brennan confirms this when he says it's an official binding marriage by the high priestess of the June temple at the very end. And Xaden left a note saying, "Don't look for me, it's yours now." And he has referred to Tyrrendor as she the entire series. So Larry theorizes that this is referencing his soul. This could suggest that the binding marriage has to do with his soul remaining intact. The part of his soul that isn't dark remains with Violet. They talk about the high priestess of June. There is no goddess more wrathful than June. Entering her temple will slice the soul from any attendant who has shunned her grace. When the Irids are talking about what happens to your soul when you turn Venin, they say it is not a trade. The soul is not kept by the earth as Darkwield to steal its magic. The power exchange kills the soul, one piece at a time, and death has no cure. So they're theorizing that Xaden saved the remaining piece of his soul with Violet, the part that was left to forsake. This means there will be something to save. She had her memories erased so no one can question her and reveal the plan and what Xaden is up to. Because, for example, Dane can read memories and shit. And then they believe that the broken compass will be used to help her find him, guide her to her north, which she has mentioned a few times in relation to Xaden. I never would have fucking put that together.
Nah.
Absolutely.
No.
Do I believe it? Yes. I think that is absolutely genius.
Yeah.
And I don't even think Rebecca's aware of that.
She's like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Pencil that in.
She's writing.
She's like, yeah, that's a great thing. It's a great plan.
The other theory, the main one, was that Brennan, Violet's brother, is a Venin. So, Eden Widener on TikTok believes that when Sloane transfers magic between Dane and Brennan to save Mira, Brennan walks away and Violet notices that there's no mark at the back of his neck, the rune-shaped mark he got when Naolan sacrificed his life to save him. He carries on his palm, and there hadn't been one on Dane's wrist either, from when Jack Barlow siphoned power from him at the end of Iron Flame. So people believe that Naolan was or is, not that they believe, was or is Venin. Jack Barlow is Venin. Sloane isn't Venin, right? And Tan refuses to talk about Naolan, because Naolan was his old rider.
Yeah.
Right? He refuses to talk about him and could make sense as to why Tan was so quick to turn on Xaden when he became Venin, referring to him as the Dark One, saying there is no hope for him, because Naolan could be, is theorized to be Venin, right?
Who's Naolan?
He is the one that was Tan's old rider, and he saved Brennan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right? So people are speculating that he's Venin. People believe that Naolan
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So people believe that Naolan was Venin or channeled and turned Venin to save Brennan. So what could this mean for Brennan? Is this why Violet's dad said she could only trust Mira and not Brennan, right? And then people are suggesting that Naolan is the sage that is showing up, that's the Voldemort. The sage that is showing up in Violet's dreams. Is he still alive? Did Tan break the bond between him and Naolan? Because we learn that dragons can break the bond, because Andana breaks the bond to go to her family. Anyway, so then leaning into other theories that Brennan could be Venin, people believe he turned trying to mend Mira after she got her throat slit. So during that moment, it's mentioned that Brennan's dragon roars when Violet mentions that no mender has ever had the power to fix critical wounds like Mira's. No one bore scars from Sloane siphoning, and Brennan was acting super suspicious about the whole situation. And then in Xaden's chapter, it's mentioned how his new brother was the last person he'd expect to turn Venin. People speculated that it was Bodhi or Garrick, but it could be Brennan, which could explain why he felt so betrayed, because Brennan was the one helping him and trying to get him mended.
Yeah, that makes sense, because I thought it was, Garrick.
Yeah.
Or Riddick, because I feel like they had... Riddick had a
beef with him
thing where he wanted to prove himself, because everyone no one was taking him seriously.
Oh, you mean
he's the funny guy?
Oh, yeah.
And then Garrick, no. Who's the other one?
Bodhi, because people were speculating.
No, the one with the amputee. Garrick.
Sawyer.
Yeah.
Sawyer. Yeah.
Because he wanted more power and to be youthful, so it kind of made sense if he.
Because then people were saying it could have been Bodhi, because otherwise, why would Xaden marry Violet and make her Queen of Tyrrendor or whatever, or Duchess of Tyrrendor, when Bodhi was next in line anyway?
I had an answer to that, but it's escaped me.
Just like the plot escapes Rebecca when she's writing
That's
it.
it.
Period.
Nah, yeah, it's gone. No.
Anyway, I feel like I just did a physics exam because I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, and the fact that we have to wait like 2 years for the next book, that's insane.
But the perks are I'll forget how fucking bullshit this book was.
Are you like, would you do a reread of all three?
Nah.
Yeah, no, there's no way.
I would watch other people's summaries on TikTok, but I'm not doing a reread.
There's no fucking way.
No fucking chance. But yeah, I think that kind of works in Rebecca's favor because I'll forget how much I hated this book.
What did you rate it?
I can't even remember. I think I gave it like 3.
I think I gave it like maybe a 3.5.
Yeah. Like, again, I like the book because I'm so heavily invested in some of the characters and I will always love Xaden and Violet's relationship unless it fucking drastically changes. But the actual storyline, like, it's so... I can't believe I'm putting up with this bullshit.
Yeah, I'm looking at like what I highlighted in the book and like the bit where Quinn dies. It's like, there's a bit where like it goes through how they met. Where is it? On the parapet.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, you do realize we're about to cross the walkway of death. Well, then it might be a short friendship, but we'll make it a good one. And then the last thing that Quinn says to Imogen is, quote, we made it a good one. That was fucking sad.
Yeah.
That was real fucking sad. But again, I'm like, I should have felt more though.
Yeah.
Like if there was more character development, that would have had me sobbing.
Mm.
And then page 761, I highlighted shadow spreads like the ripple on a lake, devouring the field in a fury of an onyx storm. And I was like, oh, they said the title.
Oh my God, the whole book. Because they said onyx like 5 billion times throughout the book. I was like, what the fuck is onyx? Because like, I know what onyx is. It's like a stone or a color or whatever. But I couldn't picture it in my mind every time it kept coming up.
Black, hey?
I think it's like even like a golden black. And so then I posted on Fable being like, what the fuck is onyx? And people took it as like...
Literally.
Yeah, took it too literally. And then I was like, this isn't even funny.
You're
anymore.
like, no, it's just said 50 million times.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a love-hate relationship, unfortunately, with the Fourth Wing series.
Yeah. Like, just... Like, I'm soldiering through, and like I said, I am enjoying myself. But if I think about it too much, it ruins it for me.
Yeah, I agree.
What are we going to read next, though?
I have no idea.
We haven't picked anything yet.
No, we need to pick something this week.
Yeah, we'll do that off air.
We'll pick something, guys, and we'll announce it in our Fable. So make sure that you're joining us in Fable for the book club, and we'll figure it out.
Thanks for joining us on this treacherous journey of trying to figure out what the storyline was. I think we kind of got there.
I think this feels fucked. Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is, my dudes.
Yeah. Period. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, we'll announce our next book on Fable, and then we'll go from there, my dudes.
See you then. Love you. Bye.
Bye.